thing here. Make sure I can get live with it. Get jiggy with it. Okay, it ain't coming up for me. So here,
Uh-oh.
just do what you gotta do. So how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. A little tired here. Been a long day working on the layout, doing some other things. So gonna get to all of it and show it to you here in just a second. Gabe's getting the thing so I can watch for
Give me a second.
commentate.
Still pulling up on
Commentating. Do what?
It's still pulling up on mine.
Okay.
There we go.
So you can kind of already see some changes here.
Here we go.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. Great Northern says good evening.
Good evening.
Evening. Good to see you.
So we got a bunch of stuff going on the layout past couple of days. Let's see. Well, I can't see the picture. Nope, you can't see it yet. So that's good. It'll be a surprise. We've been working on the Alexandria and worked on. I pulled this one beam off this piece that was right here. So I just kind of have this sitting in here to see how it looks. I like how it looks, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Ethan says hi.
Hey, Ethan.
And Isaac's here too. He says my coaches are finally done with the silver coat.
Oh, excellent, excellent. That'll be good. So I've tried painting silver before. I've done a lot of Santa Fe engines, and depending on the final finish you want on it, it's all going to come down to your final coat with the whatever you use, dull, semi-gloss, or gloss. I've never attempted to use it. Well, I have. I've used the aluminum paint, the chrome paint to get the real chrome finish, and but then I killed it after I put matte finish on it. So because that's what I always do when I seal all my stuff on. So I still haven't quite figured that out yet, but I'll get there. So everybody's doing good tonight. We're doing pretty good here. We had a much cooler day today. I think it was like 57 this afternoon. So, but we're heading into highs. Of course, we're grilling on Monday, so naturally that's going to be the hottest day of the next 2 weeks. Naturally, it never seems like when I want to go out to grill that I can get some cool weather to do it in. So I think we're going to be like 80, I don't know, 85, 86, something like that. I don't know. But it always just typical, it never fails.
Isaac
Anyway.
says I use Tamiya Chrome Silver.
Tamiya Chrome Silver. Okay, so Tamiya Chrome Silver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then maybe read online about how to get that chrome finish without when you put your final on to make sure it doesn't dull, because I think matte will kill it. Because it did me, but I didn't use that brand. I used a different brand, so I'm not sure. It may be different. I don't know.
And welcome everybody to the stream. If you've enjoyed so far, just please like and subscribe. We got a great live stream for you tonight.
Yeah, we do. We're going to talk about all the new stuff because, like I said, we've kicked into high gear now. You saw that how with most. I haven't done anything since our last live stream on Skid Row because we shifted gears a little bit and we moved over here. Like I said, we finished up the garage. Oh, bummer.
What?
I forgot to bring the crane over.
Oh.
Give me a
Whoops.
sec. I'll just bring the crane over.
Let's see here. Isaac says now it's onto the blue stripes and gold accent stripes.
Oh, very good.
Finish off with decals. Great Northern says, I'm not big on silver cars, but I did pre-order the Burlington Zephyrin set Kato just announced.
Ooh, that might be pretty.
Yeah, I saw it on their channel. At least I'm pretty sure it was.
It's pretty good.
Uh-huh.
I have not looked at. What I saw came out with Kato. What I was really happy about was they re-released the one engine from Union Pacific.
Oh, they did?
Yes, and they have the Abraham Lincoln. So so that's going to be a next one for the wish list on
Amazon.
Yeah, that's all right. That's kind of looks.
It's close enough.
Yeah, I want to get the camera. I should put it on this side over here. Well, that's all right. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are going to be on the wish list, or just get them because I really want that Abraham Lincoln.
Isaac said, so if I heard you right, you said Matt killed the chrome silver color.
It does, yeah,
it?
yeah, it does. It does. I tried a chrome. Now, bear in mind that I tried chrome paint. This is like 15, 18 years ago. So I'm not sure, if things have changed since then. Probably a gloss coat would do it if you want to keep that good shine. But there's probably going to be some tutorials online about how to keep that good chrome finish. I would look some up and see what you need to use as a final coat, because you're going to want to make sure you put something on there for fingerprints.
Willem says maybe you could build billboards in the city because my uncle, grandpa, and I did that, and it looks pretty good.
Yes, we are gonna have lots of signs. We're gonna have,
Neon and regular billboards
yeah,
with backlights and stuff. And
yeah, and over here in the corners where we decided to put our Broadway street, like Times Square, we're gonna actually found a guy online that makes little tiny digital screens, really thin but different sizes, and you just put them in and you program in what ads you want to go onto it. So we're gonna do a whole line like that, like right around Times Square has on all the sides of the buildings. So we're gonna put that right in the corner over there, and then we'll have signage up on a lot of the lower buildings, not the big skyscrapers, because that just doesn't happen. But we will put them on the lower buildings. So yeah, we are going to be putting a lot of signage up in this city. So yeah, look forward to that.
Let's see here. Couple things.
Yes.
Isaac asks, what about semi-gloss? It's called chrome silver, even though it's not actually chrome like metal. It's more of a metallic silver. Does that still count?
You know what I would do if I was you? I would get a piece of styrene or something, or even just a piece of wood. Doesn't matter, as long as you can get that paint to go down on it. Take a little bit of the paint, spray it on something, anything. Get a nice even coat, just like you have on the model, and then test different finish coats. That's what I would do before actually tackling the car, and then you'll know if you'd be able to get the kind of finish that you want to have that way. That's what I would do. I would experiment around and just see what you can use.
Good evening, MLW. Great Northern says, I keep seeing people say that before painting or building painting a building or figure, you should start with a matte black primer. Your thoughts?
Yes, I agree. Either a black or a dark gray. I've used dark gray on almost all the buildings that I have over here, and the reason for that is if you do like a wash type of it with a brush, you'll get the black to come through in your shadow areas, and the top areas that are your highlight areas will take the paint. And then if you want to use some sanding or something and take the paint off, you'll get that shadow underneath. Yeah, I definitely would go with a black. That's a pretty much a basic, a standard type of thing for any kind of wargaming. Almost all wargaming miniatures are flat, are a black, a dark black undercoat. It just saves you a lot of time. Saves you a lot of energy and effort trying to do shading and getting shadows. Then all you really have to worry a lot about is putting a main coat on, doing a little bit of sanding, and then doing your light highlight, like taking your paint that you use, adding some white to it to make it really light, and then doing a brush over the top to give light highlights. So that's, yeah, I would definitely recommend a black as an undercoat for things like that.
Isaac says, makes sense like paint swatches.
Right, exactly, yes. Just like paint. So just give yourself, paint it on something and then try your finishes. That's what I did on a lot of stuff to find what works for me best. Is just, it costs you a little bit of spray paint, but it's not that big a deal.
Great Northern asks, do you have a preferred spray paint brand?
Surprisingly, yes, and it's gonna be, I have two. You're gonna think, really? But yes, Rust-Oleum. I love Rust-Oleum. They have so many colors to choose from, and they're 2-in-1. Saves you the whole primer process. So almost everything I paint is Rust-Oleum, is with Rust-Oleum these days. Even engines. I've done that engine that I did. I packed it away. That one that I had up here for the longest time that I showed you, that B unit, that was painted with Rust-Oleum silver, and it did beautiful. So they're cheap, big cans. You get a lot out of it. And like I said, there's a tremendous amount of variety. Menards over here, I don't know, the paint aisle with Rust-Oleum, there's got to be at least probably 100, 200 different colors, and it's just, you can just see the tone of the colors. Just, you can watch go from light green to dark green. So if you don't want to mix or anything, you just go find the right color in the tonal value that you want. So that's, yeah, I do. I used to do Krylon, but Rust-Oleum bought Krylon, so, and they just made everything the same. They still have completely separate brands, but it's all the same paint in both cans. You're just choosing one over the other is all you're doing. So basically Krylon is gone. They didn't have a whole lot of 2-in-1 like Rust-Oleum does. So I guess there's a little difference there.
Willem says, it would be cool if you built an airport.
I was thinking about that, but we just don't have the room. Because I really like the one that's in Germany that shows the airplanes landing and taking off. I was hoping to do something like animated like that, but I just don't have the room. I mean, I'm working in roughly a 7 foot by 9 foot space that we're packing all of this into. So it would be fun. Maybe when we go to the attic and we start the layout up there after we get this one finished, I might have a little more room because that would be pretty fun to do.
MLW says I take the adjustable nozzles off when it's out and wash and reuse them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can do that for sure. Rust-Oleum even has now. They've got. I think it's. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Rust-Oleum, not the Krylon version. But they actually have the type of nozzles you can adjust to get a finer spray, a wider spray, all that kind of stuff. Just like having an airbrush tip that you can adjust. So they even have those kind of things. I haven't messed with that yet because I do such big areas that I don't have to have anything super fine. But when I start maybe doing some smaller stuff, I might try one of those out because basically every color comes with that type of a nozzle or just the regular standard. So that's why I just go with them because I just have such a good variety.
Great Northern says, "Thank you, sir. Appreciate the wisdom."
No problem. No problem. This is just rattle can paint to me is the easiest thing to work with, and I even use the Rust-Oleum matte finish. Finer things like smaller details that like some. I'll use the testers. Is it testers? Yeah, it's testers. Dull coat for those in the can. But for example, the big bridge that I built here, this cream building here, I just use matte finish. It's just a slight bit shinier than the dull coat that Testers has, but it's good enough of a matte finish, a dull coat for me, and it goes on smooth and it's beautiful. So and it's what, $7 for one of those large cans, versus $9 for a Testers can this big. I can do massive amount of projects with one of those and save myself a ton of money.
Willem says, "Yeah, that sounds like a lot. We have a very small downtown, and we'd have to extend the table, so it's understandable."
Yeah. This is just we don't have a lot of space here for any of that stuff. So, yep. So we're yeah. As I come up with stuff, as I use new products and things, I'll premiere them here. I've done a lot of stuff where having to learn what to use with different types of like the PLA. I've never worked with PLA before until this year, and I thought just plain old super glue would glue PLA together. Boy, I was wrong on that. I mean, sit there and I'd hold and the thing just wouldn't glue. And then so I did some searching, found the PLA. There was a whole bunch of different brands made PLA glue, and found a really good one. So I shared that to do stuff. So as I come across things, I'll share them. Now that was the spray paint. As far as paints go. Go back to that real quick. The other thing I use, like I've shown you guys, has just been the cheap craft paint from Hobby Lobby or Walmart. Walmart's even cheaper, but they just don't have a big selection. But you can get the basics there, or Michaels. It's just the little bottles. You guys have seen them. I'm sure a lot of you have them. It's these little bottles right here. This is the Americana that the only place you can get this at is Hobby Lobby, but most of what I use is Apple Barrel, which you can find at any Walmart, and they're 57 cents a bottle, and a bottle goes a long ways because, as you guys have seen, when I do my painting, I make everything almost an ink consistency when I'm doing stuff with just a little bit of a heavier coat without so much dilution in it. A bottle's going to last me a long time. Even when I'm doing rust, my 3 bottles will do a lot of rusting that I use to mix together to get the colors.
Great Northern asks, "What about paint pens for small little parts?"
I've thought about paint pens and I've tried using paint pens. The thing I just didn't like about paint pens, I've used a lot of different brands, is controlling the flow of the ink or paint that comes out of them. It's like it's all or nothing. You just have a little bit that comes out, and you got to work it out a lot, or it just blop, it all goes right on there. So I've been wanting to do some finer graffiti, where it's the scribble graffiti. And that's really hard to do with a paintbrush, no matter how fine of a paintbrush you get because of the bend of the paintbrush when you're using it. So I'm going to go get a professional set of, I used to have a set. He had a beautiful set when I was growing up. I'm going to get a professional. Well, it's not has to be a professional. I like to get with 2 pins. I'm going to get dip pins, like you do calligraphy with, where you dip it into the ink pot, and you do that. They come with such fine tips. And once you figure out how to work that ink inside the pin, the nib for the pen, there's nothing better. I mean, it is so controlled. It is fantastic. And you can get a line, you can do a beautiful line that's the width of a hair. I mean, it's just so fine. So all I got to do is get myself a set of pens and probably get some white ink and some black ink for outlining, and maybe start filling in some colors. One thing is ink's just not cheap, but it's great. I was talking with you guys about the artist Scotty, who used stippling to do ink work, and it's beautiful.
MLW says, I made the mistake with my first model of using enamel. Big mistake. I lost so much detail in the grills and other fine details. Luckily, it was a cheap, lifelike F40PH from the 90s.
Okay. A lot of the Rust-Oleums are enamels. It depends on how you paint. See, I've got 20 years of experience using paint cans with a variety of different types of paint in the paint cans. And I've got a good pattern that I use when I'm spraying. It just takes practice. I did the same thing when I first started spraying with paints. Man, I was hosing stuff up bad. So like you got gloppy, got thick, but you can learn, and again, you can practice. I recommend just getting a big piece of cardboard or something, and just practice smooth passes, at distance and close. Get yourself where you have your good range, where you don't get where it runs and gets cloddy, but not so far away that you lose all your paint out into the air. You can do it. You just got to do some practicing at it, and I won't go back. I mean, this stuff is just fantastic. You gotta just practice.
Willem says, when it's finished, would you use Hot Wheels or printable cars?
When it's finished,
for the layout.
I don't think there's any that are this scale. Micro Machines is about the only thing that comes close to N scale. I don't think there's anything from Hot Wheels that comes close. And most of the stuff we do car-wise, we print.
That's what he said, or printed cars.
Yeah. We'll be printing almost, because we...
Do you want to grab one of them?
We've
got some.
I got some here, because I wound up sticking most of them in the garage to see how they look.
How do they look, by the way?
They're going to have to be painted so you can see the colors and have lights on.
Yeah.
So here's like this is like an SUV cruiser, like a police cruiser. So I'll paint this black with the white doors, and I'll put a light bar on top, and I'll do some sanding and some puttying to get it nice and smooth, and then get decals for it, the police emblems, and it'll look fantastic. You just have to, where it doesn't have glass on the windows, you have to learn a paint technique to give yourself that reflective look. But there's tutorials about it online, but I'll probably wind up making a video on showing how to do it. You just paint the whole window black, but then you take some gray and you do some like light areas inside, like you're able to see details inside the car. And then you use like a white to make a light reflection on it. And it's a real simple process, but it looks really good. So you can make these look almost as, and then what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to semi-gloss or dull coat most of the cars, but then on the windows, I will get a bottle of gloss paint, just gloss finish, clear gloss finish. And with a paintbrush, I'll do that on all the windows to give the windows that shine, to make it look like it's all reflective-y. Reflectivity. I don't know if that's a word. I doubt that's a word.
Close enough.
More of our vernacular. Reflectivity. Okay.
Great Northern says, by the way, the Narrow Gauge Convention is being held here in Minneapolis from September 2nd to the 5th.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That might be something I have to go to, because I like getting videos of narrow gauge.
If it's
on a
weekend.
That's probably going to be the holiday weekend. Yeah. That'll probably be Labor Day. So that we might have to look into that, because if there's like maybe 5 or 6 good layouts, that would set us for a while.
Yeah.
Because where we've been looking for the guys and they haven't shown back up.
Yeah, the Narrow Gauge wasn't at Train Fest this year.
Yeah, and they had some. There's a couple of really good ones. We haven't seen them in a while. I'd like to get some more videos.
He also says, please do a video on those dip pens.
I will. The dip pens are so cool, and they're so controlled. again, practice. Practice makes perfect. Way I did it when I started out is, because see the way the dip pins work, the way the nib works on the actual pin part, you have the handle, then you got the little nib. And the point that comes down, it's split. It's a split piece of metal. And what happens is that metal will spread when you press it, and that determines how much ink comes out. So the harder you press it down, the wider the stripe becomes, the wider the line becomes. And I'll show you guys how to do that. I did many art classes over the years. Everybody had to teach you how to use ink and pen, and I got pretty proficient with it. And I'll show you how you can make a line go real thick and thin and thick and thin just by the pressure of the pen. So I'll show you guys how to do all of that. You'll get free learning from my many art classes that I've had. So well, yeah, we'll do a whole tutorial on how to do that, and it's going to be great for doing the little scribble graffiti, and it's great for doing little details that you want to do. So yeah, I'll show you guys how to do it.
Isaac asks, have you ever heard of the Ufimake E1 UV 3D texture printer?
No, haven't heard of that one. We've only got, well, ours that we have, and then there's, what was that other one? We almost bought it instead.
Oh yeah, that Creality.
Something like that. Yeah. We're pretty happy with ours, and knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood. We started to print our big project this week, and I sat down to do my sanding. You guys have seen me when I sit cross-legged on the floor and I did my sanding. Well, I was dreading doing the sanding on this because lately, like the Artemis Towers back here, a single panel, which is just one little panel of like 12, was taking me 30 to 40 minutes to sand because of the amount of patterning that was on the surface. It was really raised high. Well, that didn't start until about maybe 2-3 months ago when there was an update, and then it hosed all the settings up. And we don't know what they did, but you can get it sanded down, but even then you still have the ghost image of the pattern on the surface. Now, I tried test painting, I tried primering a piece, and it goes away. You don't see it when it's down like that. It's just really weird looking until you paint it. But each panel took a half an hour, and it didn't used to take that. Well, I sat down to work on the Alexandria this week. That's what we're going to show you here in a minute. We've got the first third of it done, well, a little more than a third of it done. So I was down there sanding, and I was going back and forth doing my usual, just in the motors. And I was looking as I was coming across the panel, and things were looking great. I thought, what's going on here? This usually doesn't happen until the third or fourth time I've had to do this piece. Because what I'll do is I'll get a stack of them. I'll do a pass over it, set that piece aside, next piece, same thing, set that aside, then go back to the first piece, so it gives that plastic time to cool down, so you don't warp anything. And then I started sanding it. I do another whole lever. Well, it was taking 6 passes to do these panels over here. So first panel on this one, I was going across there, and I got done with it. I thought, no, this can't be right, because I didn't have my glasses on. So I got my glasses, and I held it up, I looked at it, and it took it down like when we first had the printer. And I did a second quick pass, and it smoothed it perfectly. Didn't have the pattern, didn't have anything. So I got it done. So I yelled out, and I got all of it done. I yelled out in the hall. I said, do not do any more updates to the Bamboo printer. I said, if they have an update that comes up, I said, ignore it. I said, unless it's something life or death that the machine's going to stop on us. I said, do not do it. I said, for some reason, it has gone back to normal. And so it took, because I was dreading it. I thought this thing was going to take me probably 20 hours to sand with how many pieces there were. Well, the lower section here, which is almost half of it, let me see, it took me 9, probably less than an hour and a half to sand it versus what would have been 4.5 hours. It cut it by a third, down to a third of what it used to be. Back like it was when we first got it. So our printer's back to doing just what it's supposed to be doing, and I was so happy about that. It's like, yeah, bring the pieces on, I can do it now. So I wasn't like dreading it. So after that, I was like, oh, okay, so we're back to building big buildings, which I'm going to talk about because we have one of our biggest buildings going to be started probably in about a week after we get the Alexandria done. We're going to be getting kicked into the monster over here on the side. we're gonna get you guys' input on that too. I can't decide what the use of that building is gonna be. It's gonna be a monster. It's probably gonna be almost 4 foot wide and probably 4 to 5 foot tall in scale. It's gonna be a huge thing. I was trying to figure out maybe just make it like a financial institution of some sort. And then I thought, well, maybe I could make it a split shared railroad headquarters where, we do a lot of BNSF, MRL. So make it like maybe BNSF and maybe Amtrak split it because we're gonna have massive transmission towers on the top. Yes.
We've got quite a few things.
Sorry. I just got rattled. Okay, go ahead.
Great Northern says there will definitely be good layouts. I know 2 people who will have layouts on the tour.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, so it's a tour. It's not just going to be at a single spot. Okay.
Isaac asks if using a UV printer would be a good substitute to using decals, so you don't have that clear film visible.
Well, you can get away with getting the clear film. The clear film disappears as soon as you put your final coat on. The way you do a decal. Well, let me come back to the decals. Let's do these other real quick, and then I'll come back to the decal thing.
I fix stuff. Asks, are you going to paint the high rises?
Oh yeah, they're all going to get painted and have windows put in with window shades and all that kind of stuff.
Crochet Lady says, "Wow, what great luck on sanding."
Yes, I was so happy about that. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, so about decals. All right, so when you go to apply decals, what I have found the easiest thing to do, especially when I was doing engines and things like that, I would put a semi-gloss coat down. All right, so before I do any decaling, I got all my paint done, everything else, and I'm getting ready to do decals. You put a semi-gloss over the whole thing. Now, this is probably not going to work for the one that was working with the chrome stuff unless the semi-gloss doesn't mess with the chrome look. But for a standard kind of a paint job. So you put a semi-gloss down. You put your decals on. You get all the bubbles out, everything. You use your little pin and poke all the holes out of the bubbles. You use your Solvaset, get them all to snuggle down into all the cracks, everything. You get it where it's, for the most part, flat. Biggest thing you need to do before you put your decals down is very carefully and very slowly is you get a super sharp X-Acto and you trace as close as you can around every letter. So like if it was Santa Fe, which I did a lot of, I came up around the S, came down, came over the A, came over the N, went up around the T. I just didn't cut it as a square. You go down as close as you can to every bit of it. So then you put the thing on, you use your soak method with the, what kind of water is that I use? The,
Solvaset.
No, the water you soak it in. You have to get, it's,
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of the stuff. What is it?
What?
Oh, just distilled. Soak your
Okay.
decals in distilled water. So you have a cup, put them in, it'll all release everything. You put them on there, on the semi-gloss after you paint your thing, base coat of semi-gloss. And then when you're done, you dull coat it or semi-gloss it again. Either way, it's going to blend in. You're never going to tell that it was a decal. The only thing maybe is if it's like coming at you like at an angle, you might see it slightly raised, but these decal films are so thin now that that's virtually, you don't notice that. But you want to get that trim, you want to trim it down completely as close as you can to what you're putting on there. So that's my recommendation on that. And so then, but the reason you put the semi-gloss down, and I've never understood this, but I tried it several ways, and it is the best way to work. It has something to do with putting a semi-gloss underneath the decal. So when the decal sits on it, it does something to the back of the decal. I don't know what it does, but it helps it to where when you put the matte finish over it, it's beautiful. It just makes everything done, or the semi-gloss or the gloss. It doesn't matter what you use as a finish coat. It makes it perfect. So that's, and I should have done that, which I didn't. So I wound up getting it nice and flat, but it took me so much more on that fence that I did all the graffiti on, that I used all those decals instead of hand painting it. I forgot to put, after I got all my paint on, I forgot to put a semi-gloss on there, and then I put all my decals on, and then it took me like 10 coats of dull coat to get it to all blend together. Had I put the semi-gloss on first, it would have been 2 coats. So I wasted almost a full can of the Testra's paint doing that. So live and learn from my mistakes over all these 40 years of doing this. So that's what you do. And if you get it down close, you're never gonna see all that. That's the biggest mistake I've seen on people's models, is they just cut it square, decal the whole thing. They don't realize that the entire thing is a piece of film. And they just think that it's the letters are gonna come off, but they don't. And it leaves that little square thing, and it doesn't look right. So just be sure to cut around it. Okay.
Okay, Isaac asks, is that the same thing with custom-made ones, and you use a decal film you put on it to make them waterproof?
Yes. You can buy the water slide film, which acts like your micro scale decals, your Circus City, all those kind of ones. And you just have it printed. I used to have an Alps printer. I think it's inkjet, any kind of an inkjet. It has to be an inkjet, I believe. You can print your own. But just be sure to get the water slide type of base. And you can buy those blank sheets from Microscale themselves. Okay.
Okay, Crochet Lady says September 2nd through the 5th is a Wednesday through Saturday, and Labor Day is Monday, the 7th.
Okay. All right, that's good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So, we're having some good conversation. I'm glad you guys are asking some questions. I'm happy to answer.
And we're just doing the comments in order, so if you leave a comment, we will get around to it.
Yeah, we'll get them all. We'll get them all tonight, so no big deal. So I thought I'd show you, this has been sitting in the background for a little while. We're going to be doing an updated version of this building. So I thought I would show you this tonight. This is a pretty cool building. It's, hold this like this so you can see what it looks like from the top. We built this, I thought, this is great. And then it dawned on me, well, how am I going to get my hands down in here to do the glazing? It's just not going to work. So I could probably, I don't even know how I would do it at this point. I'd probably have to take this off and this off, these two wings off, and do those separately, but then I still don't know how I'm going to do this. Well, anyway, Gabe's going to is going to make this much bigger. I mean, we thought this was going to be a big building on our layout when we first got started. Well, here you go. It's not a big building. So we're going to be building this into a big building. We're going to take this piece right here, this main square section, and it's going to be 5 inches across. So this is only about 1.5 inches, so it's actually going to be about that wide. I get my hand down in there to get the glazings on, so that'll make things easier. Plus, let's see, we're going to make it roughly 2.5 times this height too, so you're going to look at it about that tall. So and then these wings will be adjusted accordingly. But what I'm going to do this next time is I'm going to just glue these together, this one and this one together, and have them separate, so that I can install the window glazing and everything. I get everything done, painted everything done, put my window glazing in, and then I will just do a thin bead of glue right here, glue it on there, and if any glue squeezes out, I'll use some of that matte finish, the dull coat in the bottle, and I'll just touch it up right here because everything else will be dull coated by then. So I'll just touch that up and I'll get that glue to hide it, to dull coat down. So this is going to be a pretty cool building. So this is going to be coming probably within a month. After we get done with the Alexandria is going to be the monster. So that's going to take us probably four spools of filament to do that. To give you an idea, let's see, can you see it? Yes. The big one right behind me right here, the Titan, that took 1 spool. That's how big this thing's going to be over here. So it's going to be 4 times the amount of filament that the Titan has. So it's going to go right there. Like I said, we need to try to figure it out. So we may put a vote thing up on the posts, maybe give some options about what it could be, let you guys vote on it. Like I said, I'm not sure, maybe making like a tech center, or where it's going to have the big antennas on top, or do it as a railroad headquarters with like multiple lines in there, like maybe Amtrak and BNSF, or it could be, I don't know. So we'll have other where you can put in as an option where you can put in your own suggestions in the poll. So we'll put that up there. We'll probably do that after we get so you guys can visualize it. We'll probably do that after we get it put in place, so that you can kind of get an idea. I mean, the thing's going to be as big as the window and taller than. So we'll let you guys help us out on that. All right, got anything?
Isaac said, Yeah, Isaac says, I think the one I use is Microscale's decal film
Yep,
that I put on them after they're printed and they dry.
yep. Yeah, you use the solva set to get it to really snuggle down and to get rid of everything, and that'll really help it set. And then what I do with the solva set is I have two bottles. I've shown this before, but it's been a while. I'll show you here. So I always have two bottles of the stuff. And I have one that's a 50% strength, and I have one that's 100% strength. And I put on the lid here on the top which one it is. So this is the 50. So what I did is I had an extra bottle and I poured half of this out into another bottle that's over there. And I'll eventually take that full strength and put it into this bottle when this one gets low. In the 50% bottle, you take that, and you pour it halfway down, you put distilled water in it, and fill it right back up to the top, and you mix it. You want something that's not so strong when you first put the decal down. So you use this, and the size of the area that you're going to put it down. Don't put it on the entire side, but the size of the decal, and you right where it's going to go. You put the 50% down. So when you put the really wet decal down that's sliding around really good, this will let it slide around into place without locking down real quick like this will do. So what you do is you put this down, put the decal down on it, and then let it sit for a second or two. Well, more than a second or two. Then I can move it around and get it exactly in the place I want to get it in, and start using a toothpick and actually gently kind of getting it down into the grooves and stuff. So then you get it placed perfectly, let it kind of start to sit, and then you use this, the full strength. And then I usually put on, probably I get about 3 coats of it, and the third coat of the full strength is when before I do it, I go in and I take the little pin and I poke all the holes. Pull holes into the little bubbles and everything that you need to get rid of. And then that way this stuff goes into it, into the little holes, and it sucks all that stuff down. And you'll have a perfect decal on everything.
Well, let's see. Crochet Lady asks if I'll be back to class on that date, from the September 2nd to the 5th.
No, I think you're still off for a while. Yeah, I think you're still off for a little bit.
Yeah, I think I start after Labor Day.
Yeah, but see, that's also going to kind of, but if we did that, then we wouldn't do the, we're still trying to decide, we're going to do the Monroe show for sure in September. We're trying to decide if we want to go get up there to Minneapolis for the show at the fairgrounds. So it's kind of a toss up there. If we decide on the fairgrounds, then we obviously won't go for the narrow gauge. But we may just go for Monroe. I don't know. It's going to depend upon how we get towards the beginning of the school year next year.
Let's see. Isaac says, I mean on the decal sheet before I cut and put them on the model.
What about it?
That's all the message was.
Oh, okay. Well, you do have to treat the decal sheet after you get it printed, because if you don't, when you put the solva set on, you're going to lose your printing. So they recommend using a semi-gloss, I think it is. Use a semi-gloss sealer. They may make that's been a while since I've actually printed my own. They actually may make a spray now for decals that are printed, because you have to fix the ink on there. So once you get done printing it, you need to spray the surface. I think this is what you were asking about. I'm not exactly sure. You need to spray the surface with, I used to use a semi-gloss on it, and that just locked it down. You do a light coat so you don't get any of the ink to run. So, and then once it sets, then you can do whatever you need to do. You can use that solva set, and it won't take your pattern off. Okay.
Great Northern says, keep me posted.
I will. I definitely will. Yes. We will let you know if we're coming your way. So, we're definitely for sure. We're for sure. I'm still sorry you're not going to make the N-Scale convention, because that sounds like a lot of fun. And it seems like we've got a couple people going with us this next time, too. So, I'm looking forward to that. We're just going to maybe caravan up to it. So, it'd be pretty fun. So, that's going to be a good day. Plus, I think maybe if we do it, we may have time to stop by Hiawatha Hobbies or Southside Trains and check them out too. Hiawatha is always a great place to check out. If you haven't seen Hiawatha Hobbies, go search our videos for it. You won't believe what you see there. I mean, it literally is floor to ceiling on their walls and their shelves. I mean, it just goes straight up, and it is packed tight. The aisles are very narrow. Okay.
Let's see. Isaac says, sorry, what do is print them, then use microscales decal film, clear the model, then I would cut them, then use MarkFit decal solution on the model, then put the decal down, then use clear again.
Okay.
Does this help if I'm doing it right?
I guess it depends on your printer. I always had to put coating after printed before I went to the other steps of cutting them out, soaking them, putting them on the model and all that. You always had to before actually coat the decal. But your steps are right. It's just you may have to add that extra step in there right after you get done printing them.
He says, yep, same thing.
Okay. Yep, same thing. What? Okay. So I think that'll probably solve your problem. That's not that hard to do. I used to do custom decals all the time because back in the early 2000s, late 90s, there just wasn't for modern equipment, there just wasn't the stuff that was there. So I would always print up what I needed. I had Adobe Photoshop, made my templates, and did what I had to do. So, okay.
It says, I'm putting a film after printing. Same thing, I'm putting a film after printing.
Yeah, it's the best thing to do because then you just don't lose your ink print. You didn't waste a sheet. So just, I would look online and see what people recommend because there may be a better product on the market now to finish sealing the decal than just using a basic semi-gloss. There may be something made specifically for it that's a lot better. So I would just look online and see what people are saying is the best for that and what has the best amount of stars reviews on that. So that should do it for you. All right, so I think I'll show you guys what we've done, and then we'll put it back and we'll do a little more chatting. So, all right. Like I said, I haven't done much. Well, a lot of you weren't here live when I did so I guess some of it will be new for some of you. We didn't have that many that day. I actually started doing the landscaping on the towers in Skid Row. So I'll show you what I've got going so far with my asphalt that I put down and the back alleyway behind the buildings. So we'll get. We'll show that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more thing from him. He says, you use Adobe, I use that too. Since you use it, could you tell me why my decals I made in gold and yellow not show up on black surfaces and barely show up on silver when I want them to stand out on black?
Gold and which color?
Gold yellow.
Gold yellow. Okay, yellow is yellow. I always found was a really hard one to print on printers. I don't know if it's like what they use for the ink. I always had problems with it too. So I think it has to do with probably the printer you use and what it uses as the base for the ink. So I would just do some looking into that and see if there's something that people recommend to put in your printer that will do those colors better. So that's my best suggestion on that, would be to do that. Plus, obviously, you can't print white. So if you have anything that needs to be white, you're going to have to undercoat with white and then put whatever decal on top of it and hide the white where the white doesn't show through. So there's just little things you have to do for layering. So, all right.
Okay. While you do that, I'm going to get the next plate started.
Okay, let me get my glasses on so I can see the comments while I'm doing this, if I can find my glasses. Oh, there they are. Okie dokie. So, we'll start with this area right here. So like we talked about, this was this front piece. You can see I butchered it down here. I took it off. I took the front piece off right here, and we put it right here. I like this setup a lot better, and I like how this is going to still give me a little tunnel effect here once I put the beams across and I cover this and I have the station here. Station will be set back a little bit further. It's not going to be all the way to the edge like this, obviously. I'll probably add a little bit more to this, maybe come to about right here for a little, or no, this will probably be pretty good for parking. Have cars lined up here. This will look pretty sharp right here. So that's where this sits. So I'm pretty pleased with how that's going to be for our station, with both the elevator on the back wall right there to get down, along with some stairs. All right, so here is the biggie. So I have to actually back up a little bit. This is the base piece that we're working on right now. This is the Alexandria. This came together pretty fast, like I said, since the sanding came out so good this time and so quick. It's so much easier. The only thing I have left to do, they're printed. I've just got to put the other two inserts inside for the stability. Like we did on the Titan, you can probably see right here, there's an insert here and an insert there. Here an insert, there an insert, you know how it goes. So I'm going to put one here, one there. Then what's going to step back a little bit, just like Titan does, and then go up again. This next section will be about 12 inches tall, right here. And right here are going to be, I'll be gluing the top of the wall right here, these stair step effects. It'll be windows on it and everything. Each side will get that, so that the tower that goes on here will have these like specialty offices and stuff that go back to it. But it'll be a stair step looking effect all the way around, all sides all the way around. Then that goes up to about right here, and then our third level will be about, I think we figured out, let's see, 8 inches tall. Yeah, 8 inches tall. And then the top is going to be what looks like the lighthouse, the rotating beacon for the lighthouse. So then on the back right here, we're going to have a slight out jut for a back piece, kind of like these things do right here on the side of the Mako. There's going to be one on the back that's going to be about this tall, go back about 2 inches and go all the way to the ground, and cover the back about maybe halfway, just to give us a nice little extra detail on the side right here. And then there's going to be some special fluting done. There'll be some little beams that come down right here. There'll be some nice accents on each of the transition levels. So it's going to be a real sharp looking building. The zigzag front. So I'm assuming this one. Yeah, this is the one we were getting ready to make bigger. It's going to be actually about the height of this base level. So that's coming pretty soon. Let me get this back out of the way so you can see the sides and everything on this. So this is a total of right now nine plates. Not counting the top and the bottom, just the sides. We have 9 plates right here that made this up. You can see the seams right here. So there's 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. This right here is already taller than the base level here by I think about 4 or 5 floors taller than the Titan is. So that gives you an idea of how tall this thing's going to be, because then we're going to go up like 12 inches, 8 inches, and then another 4 or 5 inches, and it'll be taller than this. We actually measured it out. We're almost going to hit the ceiling. We'll be like maybe 1 inch short of the ceiling up there when we get this guy finished. So we should have all the components for this. Shorter one next to the Alexandria. I guess this one. So this we should have all the components printed for this, for at least these 2 levels, by probably tomorrow, and done before the weekend is here. Not counting the stair step things that I have to put on, just the core pieces. But by probably middle of next week, this building will have everything printed for it and be done, other than painting and all the rest of the gobbledygook that goes with it. So then, starting the end of next week, this is where the monster is going to go. It's going to be roughly, so if you get an idea, I'll back this up just a little bit. It'll be as wide as this past this window, and it'll be at least that tall before we put the antennas on. And then the antennas will be on top on the 2, kind of like, you know, which building is that downtown Chicago that has the 2 towers that goes up? The Hancock building or something like that? It'll have something similar to that with 2 antennas on either side, and like a penthouse level will be the executive level up on top. So this is going to be huge right here. Then after we get that all printed, this is going to take roughly 2 weeks to print, because each one of the, well, probably 2.5 weeks to print, roughly 8 to 10 hours a day. Because this right here takes almost 10 days to print this by itself, and it's roughly 4 times as much printing as this. So it's going to be quite the project getting that done, but then that's just going to be, when people come in the door into the train layout, this is just going to hit them in the face. This will be the first thing they see. So this is going to be our biggest thing, and our thing we want to have that's going to be the most impressive. And then they'll turn and they'll go, oh, there's so much more. Oh my goodness. So this is, we'll wow them here, and then we'll really wow them when we get to here. So, because we're going to put a huge building right here as a background building. And then the convention center will have the actual convention part. There'll be a background kind of a section back here. Everything's going to get moved down a little ways this way. And we're going to put a background building behind these 2 that's going to be even with the side here, and it's going to come up to about this height right here. and it's going to come over to about the midpoint here, so it actually spans the two buildings back behind. So it's just going to be a wall of windows on here. We're going to put some deadline, not really active, well, not really, but not active, elevated tracks. We're going to have our 4 tracks here that are working, that you have your 2, that'll go around here like this, all the way around, hook back up. But then we're just going to make some fake tracks that go off into the city and other places that's going to hook up to these elevated tracks. We're going to have one over here that after we get past the huge building, it's going to break off and go that way. And right here, we're going to put a Y in right here to where when this comes in, they can either go that way or the trains will go this way. We'll have a little Y section right there. So it'll look good. All those will, obviously we're not going to use them because they're going to go into the walls, but it'll just be nice added details, put a lot more blue into it, into the area in here, give some really nice focal points and stuff. So that's all been things that are going to be done in addition. I'm probably going to wind up just reusing this, doing what I need. I can get most of it out of this piece right here because this is not going to be what's here. It's going to be the same as all of this. We're going to make it all uniformed. Sorry about whipping around like this. So I may take this one and just add a little bit of height to that, and I may just cut it in half and just take it off that way and take it off that way. So we probably already got the materials that we need for it. So that's a good thing. So I won't have to do a whole lot of extra printing for just the dead track areas. We'll just have to do the, so the way this is going to go in order, finish the Alexandria, do that, then do the elevated. And then that's pretty much, we'll be able to establish what other buildings we can put in. I know I'm going to have a big open spot right here because this curve's got to come around way back this way to make a nice gradual curve to go that way. So I'm going to have a big spot that's open right here. So we're going to put something of a monster right here, another big, huge thing right here. And they'll have to see where the tracks are back here, and they go back, and then we'll just start filling in. We are going to put a building that wraps around this cutout. It'll just be walls of windows, and we may even have a track going back that way behind there. These things are easy to make, fast to make, so I can put, just dead tracks everywhere that makes it look like it's a very busy city. Maybe just put some cars on them, some subway cars on them. Like we talked about, we did start to do some research. We're going to take, since this is going to be double height this way all the way around, we are going to take one track on each level, and we're going to get subway cars. And it's a simple system that you can have where they'll stop at a station, pause for a minute, and then move on. So we're going to do that. We're going to have the top one stop at 2 points, probably here and directly behind me. And then the lower one will stop somewhere here and over here, so that there'll be constant action going on with the subway cars that we'll be doing. So anyway, let me duck under in this way. I don't want to trip over my shelf here. I can kind of get you a view of how this is starting to look. So now you can kind of see how big the Alexandria is. Granted, it's a lot closer to us, but you can already see how much taller it is versus that base right there. It's got a good 6-7 stories on it for the base already. So it's definitely going to go all the way up. So this is going to be a really nice corner right here. Especially we got the station right here, background buildings, the whole works. And then the elevated cut right between them all, right there. So then the big buildings here, and then the monster right there, and then we're going to put a big one back here. I don't know if it'll be a background building or a freestanding, but we're going to put one more right here. And I'm going to leave this whole area open right here so I can get my interchange to come over here to the helix. So I don't know exactly how my tracks are going to go, but this will give me the area to work it in. John Moore says, hi, lots of changes. Seems like that whole place you're going to put the train station or something? Yes, we took the train station out right here, and it's moved to right here. This we're going to actually continue a little bit of the slums. We're going to put them right here, and we'll scenic all this up, be graffiti everywhere, graffiti along here, and then the station right here with covering the true tracks, and we'll have the 3 platforms for it. We'll have an elevator that goes down to it along with stairs. So this is where we've just opted to do it. I was having problems right here. Let me come back under and I'll show you. So when I had this corner piece right here, I had support beams that were here and here that went underneath to give, because I was going to put a huge Ferris wheel right here and a few other things. Well, these longer passenger cars that we've got, we're getting so close to clipping it that I knew if this thing shifted at all, I was going to be hitting the passenger cars on the edges because the auto racks were having an issue with that. So it just seemed like I just needed to take this out of here. So I just went ahead and did that, repositioned this here. So I think it's going to be fine like that. And it just makes more sense to have that open and then just add some lower details with buildings, and then I can really get some scenery in and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we did change that up. So I think it'll be a change for the good. And that way too, it's going to make things easier to clean, because this right here, I can just lift the station up and just clean the tracks in. I don't have to worry about all the weight that's going to be on here that would have been on here, and had a hard time cleaning those tracks. So it's just going to make service a lot more sense on it. Yeah, I did spend a lot of time on it, and what's left over of it is right here, and I'm going to take all that apart, and all those beams are going to become right here next to the Salvation Army. We're going to show a building in progress that's going to be a housing unit for the Salvation Army for the homeless. And it's going to be right here, and we're going to show it in stages being built. We'll do a main frame completely, and then I'll start filling in the panels around it. Like every couple of months, we'll have another level done. And that's being donated by, that was donated by an anonymous check from the anonymous donor check. The guy that built this building right here, now this is all fictional, no, we're not talking to somebody real, but the guy that built this building right here, and what was the other one? Probably going to be this. When he displaced the people here, he moved them into Skid Row, and he just lost control of this and became a crime scene and all that, but now he's trying to get it back for him. And so he's going to be building a huge Salvation Army housing unit for the people that are homeless. So I'll be reusing all of these beams right here to build that right here. So showing it as the framework going up, and then just replacing layers as I go as they finish levels. So that'll be something that'll be built over the span of like a year. So it's going to be really nice. It's going to be a good project to do. All right, so let me show you what I've done here. So here's our asphalt. I started basing this. So here's our asphalt parking lot. What I used was, where is it? Those. I used the fine cinders right here. So I went with that instead of the instead of using this stuff, which is what I'm going to use on the streets, the sandpaper. I went with this so I can chunk it out, and I can have like potholes and stuff all in it, and it'll have a sense of depth to it, because then I'll put dirt in there and grass growing out, and then I will take and I'll weather this all down and make it look really worn. It won't be this black and nice when I get done with it. It'll be faded, and there'll be oil stains everywhere and all kinds of stuff. So that's what I'm going to do with that, and then we're going to come along the edge with grass. Along the back here where the fence is, I'm going to get a pack of the tufts that are already made, the static grass, and I'll put that all along the fence line right there. You can see the alleyway back here. I just have to come in and pick out some of the bigger pieces of rock that came in that pack. Once I do that, it'll look like a nice dirt area back here, and I'll put like the tracks of the cars. Because I'll actually probably put a garbage truck back here picking up something from one of the dumpsters. So this will be just an access way for that. So that's this is all coming along. So we have the pool right here. We made that. It goes right there. And then I'll be doing this same effect coming along the front of the building. I've got my stairs that go there. I'll get those painted. I don't know where the other one went. It's somewhere around here somewhere. But then we'll have the both sets of stairs right there. The back piece, oh yeah, this got done. I got all my utilities put in. That's all the electric meters and gas meters. That's the one that have the blown out meth lab on the top floor. And there's the other one. And that came out really good. That's all rusted and dirty. Looks really nice. So I've got all the utilities in place. So that's all ready to go. Back one is, I've actually got my plastic ready to go. I can't remember if I think I've dull coated this. Yeah, I did. I covered it already. So this is ready to have the glazing put on the back. So I'm going to go into the glazing put on the back and get the window treatments in. And I'll just push them into place temporarily on the back here so that when we're got our trains going, we got the camera on the outside, it'll look like a completed building for now. So then I can finish up all the rest of these windows later. So then I'm onto this. So I started painting the base of this, added on the extra, because as you can see, I did what I said I was going to do. I put the extra piece of wood on here so I could get everything away from the tracks a little bit. I did a 1x4 all the way along here. Put a lot of screws into it. It's nice and solid. So it gave me a lot more room so that we can have, we can still have our street here with our cars parked out front, and we'll have our barricades here so people can't go over the track. The roads aren't going to go over the tracks. I'm going to use wood fence here. I've made another wood fence. It's right here. It's going to go behind this one. Between the wood fences across the roads, we'll have the barricades and chain link that will seal off the back tracks. We'll probably do wood fence behind all of the blocks instead of making it all chain link along here. We'll just have kind of a mix. It'll probably look more natural that way. We're going to get those triangular barricades, the long concrete ones that'll block off the roads that are gray with like the yellow stripe on the top so they see them. So we'll put that on there. We'll get those printed this next week so I can just kind of start to finish this up. So when I go into stain all this and get it all done, we'll have another video coming on that, progress of how this has been done, especially when I get the window glazings on here so you guys can see how I'm going to start doing that. We're going to look for drapes, pictures of old ratted drapes that we can print off and scale down to the size of these windows, and then also do blinds that come down. They'll be like yellowed and holes in them and stuff. That's all going to get printed off, and then we'll put them on the backside once the window glazing is in. So you'll have a variety of window treatments for all of the windows. We'll do that for all of these that are down right here. So that's where we're going with all of that. So lots and lots of stuff has happened. Like I said, as soon as Gabe got done, we were going to move on this. So let's put this back here. Maybe I'll get it so you can see a little bit of, you don't really see the side of that anyway. We'll just put it back out here. Okay. So that is where we are at this point. It is moving quick. Like I said, Alexandria will be done by middle to end of next week. It's going to look sharp. I'm going to go probably down this weekend to Hobbytown, and I'll see if I can find a decent cheap pin set, but has the good sharp nibs to it, so I can start doing. Because I've got graffiti on the bottoms of those buildings that I just showed you, but I want to do, and on the fence too, but I want to go in and do the little scribble graffiti. So just to jazz it up a little bit more. So I need to go down and get a set of those, along with some white ink and black ink, and I'll be ready to do it. And a bottle of ink will go a long ways, even though they're only this big, by about like that. I could have one of those bottles last me like 6 months when I was doing stuff before. So it'll probably be a one-time buy for a very long time. All right, any questions or anything?
Nope.
None? Okay. So that's where we are. You saw the big shelf on the floor. That's where I was gluing these. These were too big for my table to glue. There was no way of putting them on my table with how dirty my table is. Well, plus my table's got a dip in the middle of it because it's old, and that's where I put all the pressure when I'm working. So this is a nice flat shelf, and this actually came out a lot easier, even though I have to sit on the floor to do it. It came out a lot easier to put this together, and it's a lot smoother. Actually, some of these joints are the best I've put together, so I'm really, really happy with that. All right, so I think we are good with this update, this live stream, unless anybody has any questions about anything. We're just plodding along, so we'll probably, I know we're going to come online this week, come with a stream this weekend at some point. It won't be a daytime, it'll probably be a night if I had to guess at it, so I don't know if it's going to be Saturday night or Sunday night. We may go back to a horizontal so you guys can see more of the layout while I'm working, because I'll probably do some working. We'll probably do some running then too. We've got a few surprises coming on that, so we may do that this weekend. So I think that's pretty good. So again, we'll get this built and then we'll put it up and we'll get you guys' input on that, on what we should make that building. I'm kind of leaning towards one way, but I'm not going to say what it is. You guys can do it. Whatever the majority vote is, that's what that building will become. So they'll have to name it. In addition to, it'll have to be a building, but in addition to whatever the the businesses that's going into it.
Great Northern says yes, go horizontal.
Okay, yeah, we probably will. We've done, I think, 3 verticals now, so we'll probably go horizontal this weekend on this. So, it's easier for people to find us when we do verticals, but not so much when we do horizontal. So if you've liked what you've seen, you want to see the updates, be sure to like and subscribe and hit notifications. Because sometimes we like, the other day, when I did when I put the asphalt in and I did that back thing, I was just sitting around there, I said, hey, Gabe, turn the camera on. And we just started, we didn't give any notice, anything, we just started the live stream. So this way you'll get a notice that we're live streaming. It's going to be like that a lot this summer as we're working on projects here. I may just tell them the same thing. I get the camera on. There's something that they may want to see. So there'll be a lot of daytime ones coming on that may just be pop-ups real quick. So if you, like I said, like and subscribe. We do have we're going to update our Amazon wish list this weekend. Take some things off, put some other things on because some things have come in that we don't want to get doubles on. So we will we'll update that. So if you've been wanting to, help out the layout anyway, whatever you see, you're going to see it running a lot. If it winds up being cars or engines or whatever, we've had 5 engines donated so far, along with some trains, and thank you very much for those, and you know who you are, and we've talked to you and thanked you, and it's been so wonderful to support on that. So again, thank you for doing that, and all that have donated, again, will be on the plaque that's going to be on the front of the fascia going all the way around interior and exterior.
Yeah, and thank you to our members.
Yes, we got a new member this week, so thank you for doing that.
Yep, thank you to that new member and our existing members.
Yes. So we will be putting some more membership content up probably over the weekend. So look for those of you that are a member. So anyway, I think we pretty well covered it all.
Great Northern says, thanks guys, good night.
Yes.
And Crochet Lady says, boy, you've been busy. Good live tonight. See y'all next live stream.
Oh, thank you. See you next live stream. That'll be this weekend. So like I said, Saturday or Sunday, more than likely probably Sunday night. Because we'll get done with everything we do Sunday, and that'll be nice, because then with Monday off, we can just hang out. So, all right. Well, take care, everybody. I hope you do well and stay safe with everything that you do. And we will see you on the next one. So thanks for being here.